Hello, welcome to the Prep School Open Morning Q&A. I'm Anna and I'm going to look after all the admissions questions today. I'm just going to introduce our panel. We have Jane Crouch, who's Head of Prep. We have Caroline Crooks, who's our Deputy Head Academic. We have Tessa Davey, who's our Deputy Head Pastoral. Rachel Fleming, who's Head of Early Years, and Vicky Place, who's Head of Key Stage 1. If you want to type something, you can type it in the little private chat and then we will answer your questions. If for now though, Jane, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, well, good morning, everybody. It's great to have you with us, albeit virtually. It will be wonderful at some point to be able to welcome you here onto the school site so we can see you and you can meet us. And most importantly, you can see the children here and just seeing what they're doing within the school. You'll have watched the films by now, and I hope you found them hugely informative. It gives you a snippet, just a flavour of what we do here at Headington Prep School. On the panel, you've been introduced to them, so lots of opportunities for questions. And we've got the whole of the age range covered from 3 to 11. If there are any stray questions about senior school, we'll try and answer those as well. So we look forward to your questions.
We haven't got any yet, so I was wondering maybe we could go through a normal school day. Tessa, would you be able to answer that?
Yes, so the girls arrive somewhere between currently 8 and 9 o'clock. Under the staggered start time new regime that we have in place. And then when the girls come in, they go straight to their form rooms. Their form teachers are there to welcome them and register them for the day. Some classes will start the day with a thought for the day, which is our remote assembly at the moment. Under normal circumstances, we'd all meet in the theatre for a whole school assembly. And then the day follows a timetable with morning lessons before break time. We have a half an hour break time where the girls get a snack and play in the playground. And then we have the late morning lessons before lunchtime. All the girls have a hot meal in the dining room, and currently they sit in their bubble groups, but they would sit in their age range anyway normally. And then afternoon lessons, and then home time at 3 o'clock, and then between 3 and 3:30 at the moment. And then the girls can go to clubs after school, and we also offer an aftercare facility. So there is some later provision for the girls.
Wonderful. I've got a question here about the class sizes in nursery and reception. So I was just wondering if I could get Rachel Fleming to answer that, please.
Hello, yes, of course. Good morning, everybody. Lovely to have you here. Currently, our class sizes in nursery, we've got 12 girls on roll. We can go up to 20, and that's with 3 adults, myself, the teacher, and 2 learning assistants, a nursery nurse and a level 3 qualified learning assistant. And then in reception, we can go up to 30, 2 groups of 15, and that's with 2 teachers and 2 learning assistants. So we keep those groups small and they can have a very good adult to child ratio. We then break those down into small learning groups when we can meet each child's needs, either individually or in a small teaching group, often groups of between 6 and 8 for literacy and maths and one-on-one reading. So yeah, those are the sort of class sizes that we work with.
Lovely, thank you. We've got a question now about sport and dance. So who would like to take this one? Tessa, would that be one for you?
It could be. I will do my best. So the girls have regular exercise built into their timetable. Every class in, perhaps I'll talk about Key Stage 2, and then Vicky, you might want to talk about Key Stage 1. So Key Stage 2, the girls go over to the senior school once a week for a 2-hour block of time where they do sport and they use the excellent facilities at the senior school. That happens once a week. And then they also have a half an hour PE lesson within the school, within their week of timetable. And that will either be in our prep school gym, which is really well facilitated and has excellent equipment. And they're all perhaps outside on the hard court or on the running track that we have on the prep site. And if they don't have, in addition to that, they have dance lessons, half-an-hour dance lessons, which are taken by the senior school dance team who come over from the senior school and are highly well qualified. So that's how it works in Key Stage 2. Vicky, do you want to talk about Key Stage 1?
Yeah.
Yes, so quite similar in Key Stage 1, the girls have 2 half-hour PE lessons a week. Currently, they're also having an extra hour sport session, which is replacing swimming, which we're not able to do at the moment under the current restrictions. So at the moment, they're getting 3 good PE sessions a week. They also have a dance lesson, and there is an option to do ballet as well. So that's how we cover it in Key Stage 1.
Lovely, thank you. I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Ms. Caroline Crooks, who can talk about our assessments. I've got 2 questions, one about the entrance process and one about Year 4 places for assessment as well. So for the entrance process for early years and Key Stage 1, we have informal assessments for the prep school. And from Key Stage 2, so Year 3 up, we have formal assessments. I'm just going to hand you over to Caroline Crooks, who can talk about those.
So I'm just looking at the question. So we're trying to keep the entrance process as near to normal as we can. So we have a entrance exam week planned for November. The pupils, and they'll be in very small groups. Your daughter will be invited to come into school for a morning. And we usually do a few assessments, try and keep it as low key and as informal as we can, so to sort of put aside nerves. The girls do an English assessment, maths assessment, and a non-verbal reasoning assessment. I also get to chat to them, get to know them a little bit, and they get to do a little bit of art as well. So it's quite sort of informal, but it gets us to understand a little bit more about their abilities and their suitability from the school. And then, Anna, I'm wondering if you know a little bit more about availability for Year 4.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, we have good ability for Year 4.
Yes, yes, we may be introducing another class for Year 4. We're not decided yet, so we might have more availability for Year 4 and Year 6 as well. We do have some availability for as well. So I would encourage anyone to register on our online registration, which you can find on our website, and then we will contact you about sitting the assessments as well for the prep school. I'd just like to now as well put on a question for Mrs. Crouch. Let me just find it for you. It's just about supporting teaching and safety measures for COVID-19, Mrs. Crouch.
I'll unmic myself. So we have very thorough risk assessments in place for supporting teaching. The girls are organised in bubbles, and we keep to those bubbles very strictly. Not quite sure what's the supporting teaching, but safety measure for on-site learning. Plenty and plenty of procedures in place, from staggered drop-off collection times, plenty of hygiene, hand hygiene, social distancing throughout as well. Within the classrooms, the desks are facing the front, with the girls in some cases are shoulder to shoulder, but not face to face. We're very mindful of teaching as well. So the teachers are placed into bubbles. We don't have teachers who teach all the age range from 3 to 11. We've really paid attention to make sure everybody within the community is as safe as possible within the school. So we're making sure as well that the learning continues. Very impressed with how the staff are doing, and the learning assistants in support too. And also our extracurricular provision, that again is all on offer, but we adhere to the social distancing, strictly adhering to the bubbles, the size of those as well. I hope that's given you, I could talk for a long time, and I could read you the risk assessment, which is tens of pages long. We've spent a lot of time on safety, and the staff as well. I would say the staff do feel safe within the school. We support each other enormously on a well-being front as well.
Can I just put up one more question, which is sort of about COVID, which is for continuing learning if the school needs to be closed?
Yes, of course, there are different tiers relating to the age of the pupils. So from latest reading, the government wanted the primary age range to keep on going for as long as possible. I think they're the last ones they would want to close. Obviously, it depends on local circumstances. What we would do, what we've done in the past, is we would collapse the bubbles. So if there is a case within a bubble, that bubble would be collapsed, and that learning would happen remotely. We have an excellent remote learning provision covering the curriculum. And if the whole school were to go down, then the whole school would go remotely. I was so impressed with the provision last term, that first half of the term, when we were operating remotely, apart from Key Worker School, which operated through the Easter holidays and beyond through the term as well. So teaching and learning would continue. And in fact, looking at the girls' progress as they've come through that period, we've been really impressed with the progress that they made through remote learning, thinking about those core skills in English and maths.
Lovely, thank you. I'm going to do one now about languages. So I was wondering if maybe Caroline could take this one, if that's okay.
Hello. So languages, the girls learn French right the way through the school, and they start learning French in nursery. So initially starting with singing and learning some vocabulary right from early on. And then as they progress through the school, the obviously lessons become more complex. So by the time they're in year 6, they're focusing on grammar and, sort of conversations with each other and that kind of thing. But then also our club provision provides quite a range of languages. So Mandarin, Urdu, Italian we've had in the past. So yeah, lots of opportunity for girls to develop their languages.
Lovely. Well, we also have a question about gymnastics club, and I'm not sure who would be able to answer this one. Does anybody know about gymnastics club?
I can talk a bit about gymnastics club.
Lovely, thank you, Mrs. Crouch.
So we have gymnastics club is a difficult club to source. We've had gymnastics club in the past. We've had a fantastic gymnastics coach and running that really successfully. Currently, as far as I'm aware, we don't offer one at the moment. Our extracurricular provision has narrowed slightly. We still are offering 60 clubs a week, which I think is incredible in the circumstances. But circumstances allowing, we do offer a gymnastics club. I'm not sure if there is one running currently during our current circumstances.
I've now got a question about somebody who's registered in the States. So I'm just going to answer that one for them. So anyone who's currently registered abroad, we can do remote testing that Miss Crooks will set up as well. Normally, these need to be taken in a British Council or a Cambridge Examination Centre, but this may be able to also taken in the school if, of course, your daughter is back at school at the moment. So we will be in contact with you to organise remote testing for your daughter. So do not worry about that. I've got quite a nice one here. Do we have any links with boys' schools? So I was wondering if Tessa, you'd be able to do that one for us.
Yes, yes, we do have links with boys' schools. Currently not happening, of course, under the circumstances, but we do have a link with Magdalen School down the road, and we participate in an annual inter-schools general knowledge quiz with them. And also we do have, when sports matches are taking place, some of those are co-ed sports teams, so there is some interaction there with boys' schools as well.
Lovely. I've got a nice question here. Let's just have a look. So about visiting personally. So at the moment, we are trying to put on some twilight tours for the prep school. So after school, you can come and have a look around our site. Unfortunately, the children won't be there, so you won't be able to see the normal school day, but you will be able to come and have a look at the site. So my colleague Eloise Heppel, she's looking after that. So if you just email admissions@headington.org, that will get to her, and she will be able to hopefully set up a time and a day that you can come and tour the prep school. Because we'd really like to be able to show people around again. So I can't see any more questions up at the moment. Would you like to talk about anything else, Mrs. Crouch, or do you think we should finish there?
Wrigley. I think that's a good summary. I was pleased to have the COVID question, and I would say to any parents, if there are queries about how we're dealing with that, then please do email in. I would just finish by saying it's wonderful that we have all the girls back in from 3 to 11. We've managed the whole thing. I'm very proud of my team who've put great procedures in place, and it's wonderful to have the girls back in. They have missed so much socializing and being with their peers, and you just see around the school beaming children who are delighted to be back in school, learning, enjoying the whole range of the curriculum as well. And socially, it's so important. I can see there's another question come up, Mrs. Wrigley, about policy with twins. We do have a number of twins within the school, and we work with the parents there. So with some parents, they feel it's very important to separate the twins, just to make sure that each can develop individually away from the other whilst they're within their lessons. For some families, it's very important that the girls are together socially. So we work with you. We have both.
Lovely. I'm starting to get even more questions in now, so I'm really sorry, everybody. I've got another one for you, Mrs. Crouch. How do you support students with disabilities?
And again, very much working with the parents. I think for us, what we really value is an openness from the parents about your daughter and disabilities, because then when we have that openness, we know what we can offer you. So working with you and seeing how we can manage within the school. What I wouldn't want to do would be to have a child within the school with disabilities who when we're not able to meet their needs fully. That's not fair to the child. We have a fantastic learning development department headed up by Monica Blackwell, who is she's a shining star. We all respect her enormously, and she knows a great deal about a whole range of differing learning needs. So really, it's a conversation, time with Mrs. Blackwell, time with myself, and it may be putting in additional support. We have a range of external agencies as well who we work with, but it's really whether we have the staff to be able to support your child and the rest of the children within the class at the same time.
Thank you very much. I've got a quick question now for Mrs. Fleming. What age can the girls join nursery and reception, please?
Lovely, thank you. Yes, so girls can join us in nursery from 3, or just the term in which they're turning 3, our rising 3s. And then into reception, it's the academic year in which they're going to turn 5. So they start at the age of 4 in September, and they will turn 5 during that academic year.
About how the girls in nursery
so we have girls
automatically join the reception class? Absolutely.
Yes, I was just going to say the girls can be in our nursery for up to nearly 2 years, and then there is an automatic entrance from our nursery into our reception class. Being part of our nursery and part of the whole school then really does give those very young children a head start in their learning. We start our phonics, our read, write, ink, and our whole class maths right from the beginning at 3. I teach in the nursery and have taught from nursery all the way through to year 6. So I know exactly where the girls are heading, and we can pitch it just right for each individual child. So there's about 50% of our reception class is made up of girls from our own nursery, and 50% then from feeding in from other providers. And we work closely with those providers to ensure the best transition possible.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
And now I really can't see any more questions up. So just want to say thank you very much for everyone for joining us today. Thank you for the panel as well, for all of your, all of your helpful answers. I'll just let Mrs. Crouch have the last word.
Thank you, Anna, as well. And thank you so much for spending this time with us this morning. As Anna mentioned earlier, we are starting to run Twilight tours around the school, opportunity for me to meet you, and an opportunity for you to get a sense, a feel of the community, even though we won't have tours. So we look forward to meeting you in the not too distant future.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.